Nice to finally meet you, Matt.
Yeah, Matt, Eric.
Nice to finally meet you, Eric.
Yeah, you too, brother. That was
So
a cool background.
appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm sitting in my gun room right now. Show you the rest of it, but it's pretty destroyed. So it's our one out of the few times of the year when we're all doing maintenance. So
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, wintertime, man.
yeah. So
So are
spring's
you in
fun.
are you in Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw that on your guys' either a YouTube channel or your Instagram that you guys were in Florida.
Yeah. So we've been running in Florida 6 years now. So that's how long we've been around.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
what about yourself? Where are you playing at?
South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. I
Yeah.
was gonna say we at least come up by you at least twice a year.
Well, the one video I watched, I can't remember how I found you. I think it was on Instagram, and I think it was uh, might have been your Instagram profile, and
Okay.
I saw you had a YouTube link there, so I clicked on it, and I watched one of the videos that was from a game you played in here in South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
The
So we play
Firestorm.
over, we have Firestorm, and then we go and play, what's the other one? Stonebreaker.
Yeah.
So over at GTI.
Oh shit, that's funny, man, because that's where, Stonebreaker, these guys, our guys on our team have played there the last, 2 years. And that's their favorite place to play is GTI.
Oh, yeah. Gorgeous AO. Absolutely gorgeous AO. Not to
Yeah.
mention that crazy hole in the center, too.
Right.
So we dropped a couple glow sticks down there, man, and they're just gone.
Well, it's a cool setup because, they get there. It's a really big field outside. And then you got the indoor stuff that's like, some of the stuff in the basement is like a scene from a horror film, you know? You got all the pipes running down there. It's like a abandoned or an old nuclear reactor factory or whatever it was. It looks really cool.
Oh, yeah. Definitely a nice setup. So, and I
Yeah.
love all the JTF stuff that they throw out there, too. So, I
Yep.
mean, the night vision games was an absolute blast. I can't even tell you. Using hydro charges and stuff on doors, it's just stuff you don't see on a regular airsoft field.
I remember the first time these guys went there. They did part of the stuff inside, and they were like, "We were deaf for like 2 days because people dropping grenades down the stairwells."
Oh, yeah, no, it definitely goes with the hearing, especially in this sport, man. I'm deaf in this ear right here.
All right.
So I got stuck in a room back in like 2012. We were at Operation Irene, flipped a table that was in there, got behind it, and they threw like 6 grenades in, and just the constant just blew out the
Oh,
drum
God.
completely.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, fun time. I mean, if you're going to lose your hearing, at least I took out the two guys.
Oh my God, I know. I remember the first time I ever experienced that kind of, hearing loss or whatever in one ear. I was in boot camp, and we had the old. I mean, I was back in '89, and we had the old yellow, spongies. Just
Yeah.
kind of. Well, they're giving us the range coaches are giving us commands on the firing line. I can't hear shit. They're like this far down trying to talk to 100 guys. And I'm like, so I pulled one out, I think it was my right one to hear the commands. And then I didn't have enough time to put it in when they said start firing. So this guy on the right of me, I mean, it was just so fucking loud. The M16, we were using the M16A2s, and it's such a high pitched kind of like crack. A 12 gauge is like that boom, it doesn't really, I mean, it hurt, it doesn't really hurt your ears. It's loud, but it doesn't like make it ring for hours.
Yeah.
And we're shooting, I don't know how many rounds on this first set before I could, push it back in. I was like, dude, I was deaf for like 3 days. Like turning my head this way to like listen, for commands. Like, dude, this is crazy.
Oh, yeah, man. I say I lose my hearing probably at least 2 or 3 times a year. And we go to 6 or 7 MilSims a year. So I wish I'd keep up with the video footage, man. I got so much content, I can't keep up.
Bro, Well, I know because when you have gameplay footage, you're recording everything.
Yeah,
So, and then the GoPro records at such a high, quality that you put it in your computer, it's a huge file. I
yeah.
mean, gigs and gigs and gigs of footage. And so it takes a long time to render, and then you have to, start working on it. And you've got all, hours and hours of video, and you're only getting, 2 to 4 minutes out of each section of, 20 or whatever minutes. I think a GoPro is like 17 minutes and something seconds
Yeah.
before it splits it. It's a weird number. I don't know why it does that, but yeah.
Oh, especially a lot of our footage is team footage. So I mean, I have to look through all their head cam footage, all their gun cam footage. I have to match it all up. Not
Oh,
to mention
you edit theirs?
Yeah, on most of our
Holy
MilSim footage, it's actually mine and my boys, and we'll do a lot of synchronized stuff. So you'll see the camera switch off, and you'll see the call sign in the corner change a lot.
Yep.
And I mean, it's like 40 hours of footage every time we go to a MilSim.
Oh,
so
my
not to mention
God.
it all get rendered.
Bro. Listen, I thought I had a lot with these guys. I'm telling you. And the thing is, the video I watched from your Firestorm one, that's what caught my attention, actually, when I was clicking through some of your videos, was how you edited the gamer tag, or, the call sign tag above each of your guys' heads as the camera changed, and it floated with them.
Yeah.
I was like, how the fuck did you do that?
So that's literally second by second. I'm going frame per frame.
Get out of here.
Do that per frame. So I kind of average it out to like 40 to 50 frames, and I'll just slowly move it across the frame.
It looks fucking awesome. I mean, it looks like it's built into the software.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It took a
Holy
long time
shit.
to get that right.
Well, I appreciate that. Holy hell. Okay. So, because I was looking at doing that at some of our older videos, I was like, maybe I'll go back and try to do some of that. But I wonder, I was going to ask you on this, when I asked you to be on the podcast, I was going to ask you that if you had some kind of software that, did that automatically, or if you did that.
No, that's not software. So,
holy shit.
No, Macs do have a software for that, which is cool and dandy and all. I don't own a Mac.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I'm using a Corral X10. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. It's between that and like Sony Vegas. Those are the two big top tier editing systems.
Gotcha.
I use Corral. Unfortunately, it's all frame by frame. There's no real program for that.
Yeah.
Where with the Mac there is, you can actually lock it in, kind of like if you're using a drone that is using like the face recognition to like follow you.
Okay.
So they have the same program for that, and it'll follow you with that. And we're talking on my editing iPad. And there's a software on that as well for backup where it does do something similar to that, but it's not very accurate. It's real choppy.
Yeah.
If you see some of my older footage with it, it's a little bit more choppy because I was doing it like 2-3 frames.
Right.
Where, now it's just you got to do it frame by frame. Otherwise it looks like garbage.
Yeah. Well, it'll jump. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude, I commend you for that kind of work into that. I mean, because you're talking like less than a minute of footage on some of these guys, where you put that call sign above their head. Holy shit. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. I had spent so many hours on editing and trying to get things right, just lined up and everything. And so when I saw that, I was like, fuck, man, that looks cool as shit. I gotta see what he's using. Yeah, you're doing that manual. Awesome. For real.
And actually most of the overlays are all like that too, especially with the hit markers and all that. Those hit markers take up like 3 frames.
Yep.
And I'm going through and I'm literally following the BB to the exact point where it hits and the hit marker right there.
Right.
I mean, it makes it realistic. It shows the viewer a little bit, where the actual shot's going.
Right.
Gun cams aren't always reliable either. They don't always pick up everything, and they're real tricky sometimes. You could have the top tier, gun cam you can buy. All right, I use a front cam too.
Yeah.
The issue is especially in close quarters, it doesn't pick up the BB as well. It gets fuzzy. It's trying to focus.
Yep.
And people will say, "Oh, well, you're running a gun cam." Well, cool.
And not only that, but lighting. Yeah, so
It's not
lighting is a
always
big
easy.
deal. Like it's you know, if it's not perfect lighting, it is you know, it's not going to focus on the right thing at the right time. So you go to that one frame that you're looking
Yeah.
for where it hits and it's fucking blurry, like, oh shit, what do I do? Yeah,
Especially here in Florida, it's sunny everywhere. So like trying to shoot through a window sometimes, it's like, oh, you
right.
can be perfectly inside. You can't see anything outside that window. It's just
Yep.
absolute white. Real hard to get footage in a lot of our fields like that because,
Yeah.
especially like BTA here, it's all Connex boxes. So you're walking inside
Oh,
Connex
okay.
boxes, can't see nothing out on the
Well, you have spent some time editing. Holy shit.
other side.
All that gameplay footage, yeah, that's I mean, it's a lot of work. I was talking to somebody recently and we were talking, they have a YouTube channel and we were talking about the difference between, you know, posting like pictures and stuff on Instagram. Like, you know, you have your Airsoft Instagram page, you're just posting pictures or little short videos,
Yeah.
like the reels and stuff. And then, you know, that's really easy to get, you know, to get traction on Instagram, right? Like get a bunch of followers, you follow, they, you know, you tag somebody or you know, just a hashtag or whatever. Now go start a YouTube channel. That's some fucking work, bro.
It's a lot of work, man. I mean,
It really is.
compared to all the other social medias we have, it doesn't get touched. And you know, you spend so much time making footage. You know, at one point in time, I had to decide. You know, was it worth making the footage for
Yep.
my viewers, or was it worth doing it for my team? Because a lot of it is edits of my teammates, and it's a lot of edits of all of us together and the adventures that we have on these MilSims. And you know, that's what I really made it for. I wanted to make it special for them. You know, whether the YouTube page got big or not, you know, it was worth it for them, you know, as well.
Yeah, that's a really common thing I found with most airsofters I've talked to is they if they spend time doing, you know, the YouTube channel, whatever, they're in it for the content. You know, they're into it for their passion, you know, and their guys, you know, so that's, or their team or whatever. It's something that it really is a labor of love. You know, I kind of hate that saying, but it really is because you gotta put so much effort into it. And the YouTube thing, there's not an easy way to search. Like you have to tag everyone, or like I guess send an invite or what, you know, a link or whatever to everyone that you know, for them to be able to see it. Because especially lately, sometimes even people that originally, you know, subscribed to your channel and click that bell, whenever there's, I don't know what it is, but I've had so many people on our Discord that have said, you know, they've been following us since the beginning for, you know, 2.5 years. And they're like, I don't get notifications on YouTube anymore. Like I go in there and I click the bell, and when I release a video, it comes up on our, we have a bot that runs the Discord that it links to it. So everyone will get tagged in our Discord that we released a new video, but they won't get a notification on YouTube.
It's funny you say that because I would say you messaged me through YouTube, you know, to begin with all this,
Yep.
and I didn't get any of it. I don't get any of my messages from any of my viewers that are on YouTube. I have to physically go into my actual notifications on YouTube to even see that. And I mean, if I don't know that they're coming in, I don't necessarily check it. You know,
Right.
I still get notified about subscribers, which is, you know, fine and dandy and all, but the messages, completely nothing. And unless I physically see it on, you know, the video itself, I have no idea. And I mean,
Right.
that's why it took so long to get back to you. And I've been having the similar thing with the messages going to message requests on Instagram too.
Oh
Which
yeah.
is, you know, where I didn't see your message. I was waiting for it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh well. I mean, I have no idea what's in my message request. Most of the time, it's these
It's all spam, bro.
these patch companies from overseas.
Patches from
You know?
Afghanistan. Like, bro, I'm not gonna order from your, or Pakistan, I think it is.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna order from your shit. Yeah.
You know, my patch guy. He's what is it? It's he's out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So I mean, I order everything through him. It's Badger Defense Company. You know,
Nice.
He's, to be honest, he's a little slow, but he does a great job. His
Yeah.
patches all come out perfect. I never have an issue. They never tear, nothing like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really the only person I've ever gone to. You know,
Yeah, we when we started looking at different companies to make, some of our like logo stuff, whatever, it was so the patch one we use is Monterey. They're in California. U.S. company that's been around for a while, good background, and a lot of the things that they support are really good. That's what we wanted. So all the things that like this glass, I had custom made, etched. That's a company, I think it's in Wisconsin, but somewhere here in the U.S., smaller company, but they do great work. We had knives engraved. They do everything, and we've always tried to stick with U.S. companies for all our different merch, and so I get all those requests as well on our Instagram for, patch this and patch that. And I'm like, and it has their number or address or something like, no, fucking, but yeah, I did the same thing. I never looked at those requests on Instagram because there were so many spam things. And then, I finally recently started looking at them because I did have like 2 in the last, 2 weeks or whatever, that were legit people that knew some of the guys I've done a podcast with. I was like, oh shit, I better start checking this. Yeah.
I feel bad because I got a lot of viewers and subscribers that come up to me. Oh, how'd you do that with your gear? Or, my biggest one, how'd you make your mask? I get that all the time, man. I
Really?
get 20 or 30 of those messages a week. They're like, oh, where'd you buy it? How'd you make it? Blah, blah, blah. And I just sit there and it's just like, well, I can tell you, or, I can make one for you too, which whatever you want to do, and it's not too hard to do. But everybody that tries making it, they go to get the bones for it. It's made out of tiger skull, so it's not like the easiest thing in the world to get. And of course, it's not real, but it's the resin itself, and it's a real pain in the ass to really get a hold of.
So you make I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen yours.
Yeah. So I actually make all the masks on my team. So I hand make all of them. So anybody that you see, especially with these gold patches, those are all my main operators that have been on the team for 5+ years. And I do one mask for all of them. They come up with the idea, I make it all. Whenever I make them, I usually post, a photo of them or something like that, and people will ask. But here, give me 1 second, I'll grab them.
Yeah, I want to see one. I'm sure I'll recognize it from the video, but oh shit, bro! So you make that?
Yes, everything on this is all handmade.
You made the mold?
No, so the mold itself is just bone resin.
Gotcha.
So I buy the bone resins from wherever in China. Comes to me, I cut it all up. It does look super realistic. It feels super realistic. It's even hollow, almost like it is real. Yeah. And you can see, where it was molded and shaped out. But funnier yet, this isn't dirt or anything like that. When I was actually making this one, I cut my hand, and it bled all over the mask.
Holy shit!
When I first took it to the field, I tried washing it off, and a lot of it didn't come out because there's so many of these little pockets on it.
Right.
And the kid goes, "Oh, I love the blood effect," and my buddy goes, "Oh no, that's real." And the kid just looked at us all funny. And I was just like, yeah, well, he's not lying. So.
Oh, that is cool, man. Oh, that is definitely personalized with your DNA.
My buddies always joke about it. They're like, oh, yeah, the blood's all, definitely real. And every kid that ever asks, they talk about the blood.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. So, damn, you're into all that. So you do all the editing for your team. You make the patches or order them. Who came up with the design for your patch logo?
Oh, we had a photographer when we first started. He came up, he wanted to start the Jackals. He's like, oh, Anubis, here's the logo. He just found it somewhere random. Nobody claimed it, or anything like that, especially when we turned it, went through the process of doing the LLC. And he actually made this design first, which was the red, white, and blue.
Yep.
The popular. This patch usually sells out the quickest. It's the one we hand out a lot when we go out to MilSims and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then last year I ended up it was 2 years ago. I ended up going out of my way and I made this one for my team, which it's a gold patch. and that only goes to my guys that have been on the team for over 2 years or take a specialty position on the team. So like, built their kit 100% for grenadier or, sniping, DMR, field specialist, breaching, stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. That gold one, it reminds me of a symbol in, I think it's Destiny. Destiny 2. It looks cool. Yeah, it's a good design.
Thanks. Yeah, we don't really do too much merchandise or anything like that. We don't really try making any money. Even our sponsors, we're sponsored by Mir Tactical and XFOG. I try keeping it real low key. I try helping them out as much as I absolutely can. Right. Especially saying we're Mir Tactical's pro team. I play CO at their events here in the South. Being Tan Faction strictly, anything that's Tan Faction, I'll help them out with. Green Faction, otherwise, we have a lot of good contacts with Green Faction out here. I always like making sure that we pick, somebody good to be the CO on that side that definitely plays well. We had a team named Nemesis out here that played as Green Faction at their most recent game in December, which was at the prison that everybody loves coming to Florida to play at. But and that's a gorgeous AO too. It's going to be happening again this year. Haven't gotten a date yet, but it's going to be in December. Okay. And, we'll be bringing in some vehicles and stuff this year too. There'll be a lot more technicals. The chopper, of course, is there like always. Which, being up in the air is fun. All right, any MilSim that I can be up in there, man, it's the smile on my face never leaves. The second I sit onto that bench, man, it's like feeling like a little kid.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you were up on a chopper at one of these.
Every time, man. I got some video footage of it as well on YouTube, especially landing up on the building and doing all the clearing. To me, that's awesome. And to be able to land on top of a building, breach through the top of the building, do all those missions is an absolute blast. Especially these JTF missions, man. It's huge in the South. And I honestly hope it gets bigger out in the North because, you guys are missing out. This is a blast. To be able to use real explosives, to be able to repel. To be able to do convoys with different vehicles, especially aerial vehicles, all the way to, heavy assault vehicles. Yeah. It's a blast. It really is.
Dude, that is crazy. Yeah, I thought we had some big ones over here at GTI, with the Humvees and they'll have a helicopter as well at theirs that you can buy a ticket for and ride along. I don't know how long the ride is, but, they switch off players and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen any of that kind of footage on my side, definitely check it out. Those JTF missions with the helicopter, it's unforgettable. You get the chance to do it, 100%. You need to do it. So it's an absolute blast.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome. I know these guys, they always want to do the helicopter, and they never bought the ticket for it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So they were excited about it, but they didn't pay the extra money to get the chopper rides. I was like, you got to go on there.
Oh yeah. If you're even thinking about it, the second that you're on it, you will not regret. 100%. And these chopper pilots are awesome chopper pilots. Yeah. The two that we run here in the South usually are the same pilots that run all over the United States, or up to the Midwest, anyways. Right. And they're absolutely phenomenal pilots. They'll get you as low as you want. They'll take, control areas. They'll take commands. You can point it out. They'll give you radio frequencies. You want to spend time in just one area, they'll do it for you. They're real assault pilots. So, they're going to bring you as close as you need to be. And,
the one of the events they went to, they said they were on top of a roof. So they got up to the top of this roof on the building at GTI. And they were trying to hold down this, area, whatever, station. And this chopper came around the top part of the higher part of the building, just came over and swooped down. And they hardly have any cover up there. There's a couple little building, parts with doors and stuff and where they could hide around. And this thing was lower. It was they said, man, it was so low and getting so close to us. We were getting annihilated, and it just kept circling around. I was like, "Oh man, that's fucking awesome!"
Especially when the people on the chopper are running, HPA LMGs and barrel tagging grenade launchers. They're not messing around. We got a real famous clip that we released on TikTok, which honestly really helped our follower base when TikTok first came out.
Really?
But we were just hovering over this. It was a bug, a Volkswagen Bug with a minigun on it. And the driver's in there, and I'm telling my buddy Zuki, I'm like, hey, I'm going to take out the driver. You take him out with the tag, and we'll take out the whole vehicle. So we're flying over the top of him, and I just sit there, just 3 rounds right inside of this driver right here while he's driving. And then boom,
shit.
Chalk round hits this Volkswagen, blows over the top of it. Amazing, though.
I'll have to check that out, man. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
So our chopper footage is a lot of fun, man. You know, I see a lot of other chopper footage where people are just sitting there, you know, they're doing some things from up top.
Yeah.
You know, I do the full editing just like I do with any of my other gameplay footage with the chopper footage, and it just comes out awesome.
That is cool. Yeah, the one I remember, like Airsoft Alphonse, he does a lot of chopper stuff, and he's always got that LMG, you know, where he's just fucking unloading on tons of people from the chopper. But yeah, these guys, you know, I have chopper footage from their GoPro, usually running away from the chopper, you know, trying to get away from it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I tell all my guys, if you hear the chopper and it is coming close to you, find cover. It's not worth it. I mean, one, you can't shoot it. You can't. It's a war crime. It's illegal. You could do damage to the actual aircraft.
Right.
So I mean, just hide. You don't got to be near it. If you don't see it and you hear it coming, just run. You know, he keeps everybody alive. We're talking about Alphonse and, you know, other Airsoft pro players that go out there and do footage. You'd be surprised. Once you start really editing gameplay footage, I mean, getting very in-depth with it, it really destroys a lot of other people's footage that you watch. Because you can tell what's BS, and you can tell what's actual hits, and you can tell what's edited and what's cut. And, I mean, it really makes it hard because I grew up watching gameplay. You know, I was watching, like, Team Rainbow and other teams that were out there that were just showing these amazing gameplay footage and, you know, cool ideas that really inspired me to play.
Yeah. And
now I'm finding it hard to find other people that I like watching because either one, their content is just so incredibly overloaded with crap, or it's, you know, not very exciting. So, I mean, there's a couple of UK players that I absolutely adore watching. You know, Kicking Mustang, absolutely phenomenal footage. Right. You know, he does very little cut editing. He only edits out what he has or what he liked out of that one gameplay area. Yep. And he'll add in the scope cam footage. To me, that it's very realistic. You see the beat, you see where it hits. It's very clean. Yep. You know, no matter what, you know, BS people talk about it. You know, I think that's really clean. Or even this guy is JD Airsoft, I believe it is. I might be saying it wrong. But a European player, phenomenal CQB player. You know, goes around, has a great time. He has a field that's in this 3-story building that's his home field. Doesn't usually go against many players, probably like 20, 30 people on a field. Yeah. But very good kills. He does rappelling. He does a lot of rappelling. A lot of stuff. And it's really interesting to watch because it's a different type of CQB. A lot more faster pace. Dangerous. I mean, absolutely dangerous. He's done stuff where he literally will jump onto a rope, swing around a corner, and get into a building.
Holy
stuff
shit!
Like that absolutely blows my mind. I mean, you're playing airsoft, but you're also still 2 stories above the ground.
Holy shit! That is cool.
So there's some good editors out there. There's people that come out with some really good content. Right. A lot of content is really rough right now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the majority of it. Well, even the basic stuff like unboxings. You know, there's so many that are just like they lay their phone on the floor, you know, 2 inches from their box, and it's just, you know, if you have earbuds in, you're watching it like at work or something like that. It's just this huge loud, you know, with cutting the box open and pulling this paper out. Like, bro, can you please edit the audio to where it's all like level, you know? And then their talking is so low. The camera's falling over and they don't edit that out. I'm like, and listen, I'm not one to talk because the audio sometimes, like this mic is shit, you know? I need to get a new mic. And, but I do take the extra time to, when I edit these podcasts, whatever, most of the time, I'll remember to take the time to like clean up the audio where there's, not a whole lot of background noise. One of the services I use to post it, it has a built-in audio editor as well that cleans up noise and whatever. So
Yeah.
makes everything level, and especially gameplay. I was talking to somebody last week that, if you don't have like a scope cam, even for regular skirmishes or whatever, if you're out woodland or, anything farther than like 20 feet, if you're just using the GoPro on your helmet, it does not capture, the intense moments that you want it to capture. It just doesn't, unless you have a lot of action stuff where you're like on the go, running, sliding, you can see your gun pulling up, this and that, but most of it's not. And so they're standing in a little, makeshift building outside of a window, and their GoPro catches. You can see the guy they're shooting at, but you can't see anything else. And most of the time, what's in their video, you can't even see them getting hit or if they got hit. So you're like, where's the good parts?
Oh yeah. And a lot of it's overdrawn. You're seeing a lot of just moving and moving and moving, stopping, talking, moving. It's boring. It really is. And it's something I personally did a lot. A lot of my real older footage. I was doing 15-minute footage where I could have made it 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's really just not something somebody wants to watch. I wouldn't want to watch myself staring at a wall.
Yeah, for real.
But camera-wise, it actually, a lot of people are using 4K cameras. All right.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's fine and dandy. You get amazing picture quality, but 4K actually has an issue picking up the BB a lot more than it would with 1080p running 60 frames a second. Don't know what it is. Don't know the science behind it. My boys run every camera you can think of, but I always tell them put it to 1080p at 60 frames. It picks up the BB nicer, and honestly, you see a little bit more. Where the 4K really takes the surroundings and focus more on the surroundings,
right,
as much as the distance.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, the 4K is great for like environment, or if there's good lighting and you're capturing somebody, you're talking to somebody, whatever. It's really crystal clear. But the environment, it's vibrant. Especially if there's a lot of color. If it's spring or summer, and there's a lot of greens. With the trees and the brush and the grass. And but yeah, the action stuff is not that great on 4K. We try using 4K on the cameras, and I put them side by side when I put them in the editing, and I couldn't tell a difference from the 1080 to the 4K. Now maybe it was my monitor, maybe it was the editing program, I don't know, but I was like, dude, it's not worth it, because it took like 10 times longer for me to load it, edit it, because it's such a huge file.
Not to mention, if you're rendering it in 4K and then you go to edit it, it's going to be a nightmare for your computer. All right, you could have an amazing editing computer.
Yep.
And it's still going to be choppy. All right, your computer is taking so much of a beating by cutting that into frames. You're just beating the absolute hell out of your computer.
Yeah. So when you put it in your editing program, it takes whatever time to kind of optimize or render that. Then once you start cutting, every single cut you do, or you drag and drop, a text overlay or whatever, a title or something like that, it just adds and adds and adds. Then you try to keep cutting, and the more cut. I remember doing the first gameplay video they did, and this was GoPro footage. It wasn't 4K, but it was it was still larger files than what I was getting from the regular videos I did on my phone. And I was like, dude, I can't even edit this. Like I literally had to go in, put the whole video in, cut it in like 4 sections, take the other ones out, export that first one, then load it back in just as that smaller one. And then I could actually work on it, because as I started cutting, my computer was just longer and longer and longer. I said, and then I would try to just cut out this tiny little, just drag the line back and forth, like to get the scene just right. And my computer would go in, the software would just be like loading, like I couldn't see the screen, loading. I was like, bro, I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna go to lunch. Like, what am I doing?
Well, and to be honest, this is how my whole setup starts. This is before I even go into cutting anything. Okay, so with Corel X10, when I pull up the files and I pull the videos that I want to use for editing, okay, the second it goes into Corel, it starts rendering it in less than 1080p. It could be 4K, but it's going to start rendering it in less than 1080. And that's
same with mine.
Easier for me to edit.
Right.
And it could be 4K footage. It could be 5K footage from a 360 cam.
Yep.
And it'll still render it lower. Which, I mean, is fine and dandy. It's when you're editing, it's usually on a small screen anyway. So, I mean, really, what's that? But it takes legitimately between 3 and 4 hours for it to break down into that. So, and I mean, I'm just sitting here with a list of whatever I'm working, and it just boom, boom, boom through those 3 hours. And it's just like, finally, now I can actually edit. So then I spend, 4 or 5 hours editing.
Yes.
But it spends a whole day. It's a whole day for 15 minutes of footage.
Yep.
So
it is. That's gameplay footage. I think as far as our channel, like the unboxings, those have been pretty easy because early on we would forget to stop the camera, pause it or whatever in between. So I'd have like an hour of video because we're like moving boxes around because there was 4 of us doing, we each had our own mystery box. So all the in-between time and stuff. So I'd have an hour of video to load into my program. I was like, whoa, this is fucking, because our unboxing videos are like 5 minutes, bro. Yeah. So I'm like, no, we got to remember to hit the pause button on my camera, okay? Because this is fucking crazy how much, stuff I have to do to get, 5 minutes out of this unboxing. So, because, where's this? Or, hey, let's set this up. Or while we're moving stuff around, we knock something over. We got to set it up, wherever. But those are probably the easiest ones we've had to edit. The gameplay footage is really intense as far as, the work on your computer and the work on you. It is way more because you have to go through so many, minutes or hours of footage to find those, 10 or 20 second or 30 second spots of action. Because 20 minutes, you might have, a firefight only lasts like 30 seconds, typically. Yeah. So sometimes less.
It depends on what kind of player you are too. Not everybody likes being in the front lines of just absolute carnage all day. And it gets tiring. I'm not going to lie. Like a lot of the stuff we do, we're pushing all the way through. Me and my guys do really good on doing flanks. So, I mean, we'll get all the way to their spawn and we'll hold them at their spawn for sometimes hours. And what people don't understand is hours of amazing kills is cool, but hours of amazing kills in one spot is boring as hell to watch.
Boring, bro. Is
so
boring.
I'll usually just be like, oh, there's like 10 kills right here. And then I might have been there hours. I might have been there 2 hours, but those are just the 10 kills I want you to see. Because nobody wants to see me just sit there and just, shred people either. And I don't like doing that. I don't use full auto. It's not a big thing I like using. My minigun gets used maybe twice a year. It's currently going on our technical because I don't use it enough.
Yeah.
We're building I have an 08 Super Duty that we're turning into a technical.
What is that?
What's that?
What's the 08 Super Duty? I've never heard of it.
Oh, no. Ford Super Duty?
Yeah. Your truck.
Yeah. I'm trying to
I thought you were talking about the minigun. I was like, what kind of minigun is this?
No. I just got a classic Army micro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This year I'm going to throw 4 precision barrels in it. And I believe you can flat hop it, which is cool. So I'm going to try to get a little bit more range because honestly, it's inaccurate as hell.
Yeah.
It's like shooting a Nerf gun at people. I've had little kids be like, wow, is that it? They've done it on footage. They're just like, oh, okay.
It's like a little Springer.
Yeah, there's people that literally don't call their hits, and it's just like it's a great concept of a rifle, but it's not all that impressive.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, it's so scary. Well, it's really not.
Well, it looks cool as shit. We've never fired one. That's one of the ones we haven't had. So we've done the tag ends, different snipers, full auto, pretty much everything else, and shotguns and stuff. But the miniguns we've never messed with.
So if you're going to do it, the HPA one, all right, not the new electric one. This new electric one, the stats are trash. Not to talk poorly about Classic Army, but the stats are horrendous. I couldn't imagine spending the more money on an electric one to have a quarter of the stats. To me, that makes no sense.
Right.
Where the HPA one, I mean, okay, so you have to buy a tank and a line, and a tank line and rig. Who cares? All right.
Yeah, but those can be transferred to another gun anytime.
And it's an LMG. And to me, I'm not an HPA player. I don't like HPA as much as other people. I'm a big AEG fan. I've done custom work for 9 years at this point. I love AEGs. But, I mean, with an LMG, it makes sense. With DMRs, it makes sense. All right, you're not moving a lot. It doesn't really matter. You're going to be getting better stats, better accuracy with HPA anyways, too.
Right.
It's inevitable. So for the minigun, it really makes sense to have it as HPA. Now, it does have the screw-in spot. You can buy the green gas cans that are like 14 inches long, these big, huge green gas cans that screw into it. And I'm not going to lie, it has way scarier stats with that green gas can screwed into it than I've ever seen my regulator push.
Huh.
So, I mean, I had to have gotten 100 more FPS. It was shooting just absolute lasers, and it had a way more of an aggressive pop to it, too. And
that's crazy.
Blew my mind. I keep a can around just to lube everything up on the inside.
Yeah.
Because green gas has the different oils in it, and it just keeps it clean. But it's definitely the way to go. If
you can buy a green gas can that actually has a screw top on it.
Yep. And literally screws right into it. And
because
brands that it's not just.
We've got this is one of the recent ones that we got.
Right at the top.
That's kind of big.
Look at the end of the nozzle right there. Does that have a screw?
Oh shit! It does.
That fits in the minigun.
I never noticed that, bro.
Yeah.
Holy shit! That's cool.
So several brands do it. And it's a cool concept because, I mean, if you don't have HPA, just screw it in there. It'll last. I mean, it lasted me like 4 games.
Holy cow. Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we looked at getting a minigun a while ago, and we just never did. We got an RPG in one of our mystery boxes, and then one of our guys bought the ICS 6-cylinder, or the cylinder with the 6-shot grenade launcher. Yeah.
Yeah, one of our teammates has a tag-in set up with that. Literally,
nice.
All 6 tag-ins for it.
Whoo!
Taking out technical.
Yeah.
He has a black.
I love those things. That's probably probably the favorite ammunition, I guess, or weapon or whatever that we've used on our channel is the tag-in. The explosives and even the chalk rounds. They're so impressive.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
And I love the Archangels. I love the Reaper rounds. What's the new one? The Paladin rounds. I believe it's the Paladin rounds. The ones.
I haven't tried that.
It's really good setup. The one thing that kind of scares me that just came out, though, these new tag-in mortars. At the end of the day, this is still a rocket that comes down from the sky. Like, I can understand why we haven't seen them in MilSims here, because, I mean, if that drills somebody from the sky, you're going to get knocked out. If you're not wearing a helmet, it might even kill you. Like, it's a bit of a scary piece of equipment.
Oh, I got to look this up. I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah, they post videos about it, and it literally comes down and blows up just like a tag-in. I think it has a little bit of a higher charge. But, I mean, if you were shooting this in the direction of players and it drills some person, they're going down. it's inevitable. They are going down. And I think that's why it hasn't been pushed as much.
Okay.
Because I think it is potentially a little bit more dangerous than what they advertise it for.
Well, the first time when we did the review on our tag-in, so it wasn't even ours. One of our guys that had followed us from the beginning had got it, picked it up, and he messaged me one day, this is a couple years ago, says, hey, I have a pistol that I need worked on. Would you mind working on it for me? And so he sent me the pistol. He sent me the parts that he wanted. He was going to short stroke it. So I did all that stuff for him. and it was a custom pistol. This thing was badass, bro. He had it made at a custom shop, but when he got it, it didn't fire. So the nozzle, and I can't remember the parts of the names right now, or the name of the parts, but the nozzle where the BB feeds up in the bottom, the hole wasn't cut out. Like it was a defective part. Like it was a solid piece. No shit. Like where your magazine goes up, the BB's supposed to go into the hole and feed in front of the nozzle. That hole was missing. So I took this thing apart and I was like, what in the world? Because I tried to fire it. You know, I was like, okay, it's not working.
Was it a high Kappa or a Glock?
It was a high Kappa.
Really?
And this thing was great looking, bro. He had this thing like custom made, made from the ground up. This shop he had, up north where he lived, they sent it to him. He paid a huge amount of money for this gun. It was like chromed out, plus the slide was this really like pearlescent, like light blue, it was really cool looking, but it didn't fire. So I was like, what the fuck? So I look in there, I finally took it apart and I was like, holy shit, duh, there's no fucking hole here for the BBs. So anyway, I looked in our box. We had like 8 pistols out there, older ones we didn't use, but they still worked. So I just swapped the part out. It worked fine. So then I put a short stroke kit in there. Well, anyway, in that same box, he sent me a tag in with a note saying, hey, if you guys want to do this, review this on your channel. I was like, what? So he had the tag in, that mounts underneath your M4 or whatever. And then he sent us, I think, 1 Reaper round and 2, a dummy round and a chalk round. Anyway, we shot the dummy round and we set this thing up. We have a video on our channel that we reviewed all this, but we were 200 and some feet away, 220 feet away. We set up tarps. So we had the camouflage tarps. I'd put them up, we hung them up over our shed, whatever. And I'm like, and my son Christian was like, it might go through the tarp. And I'm like, what? No fucking way. By the way, I had never seen any videos, never had any information on tag-ins. I never even heard of the word tag-in, that name, until my buddy sent me that. So I'm like, there's no way. Like, this is Airsoft, bro. They're not going to make this thing so powerful that if you shoot somebody like 20 feet away, it's going to hurt them. And he's like, okay, just wait and see. I was like, and I'm sitting there on the video, like just fucking with him. Like, okay, whatever, bro. Yeah, go ahead. We'll see. It'll probably drop and hit the ground before it hits the tarp. Holy shit. You could see, I actually had so I was filming with my phone and we had a GoPro sitting up facing us while he shot it. And he shot it and it went, bro, it didn't drop. Okay. Straight through the tarp, back in the woods in the kudzu, gone forever. And I stood there for 10 seconds. I was like, holy shit, that thing's awesome.
And they only get crazier. So, if you have just the pocket, all right, which actually, here, give me 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, if you just have one of these, we've made 150-yard shots with this. 150 yards, that's huge for Airsoft.
1.5 football fields.
Now, if you take that and you put it into the grenade launcher that was built, that's rifled all the way through. Yep. We've seen almost 300-yard shots with a damn foam grenade.
I believe it.
That's nuts, man.
I would have never believed that.
So far. The fact that we've seen people get hit by them, just wow. They can really mess somebody up close range, one. Yeah. But we've seen it completely tear shirts, set like small scorch marks and stuff. Bruises the size of watermelons.
Oh my God.
These are nuts.
They are. Yeah, it's one of it was definitely my favorite airsoft weapon we've had so far. Most impressive. So we actually, when we started that video, we were trying to capture the explosive grenades on film. So we set the camera 20 yards back from the wall that we built, and it bounced off, went flying past the camera. I was like, fuck. Okay, well, let's try to dampen this thing, soften the blow so it just kind of drops in front so we can get the explosion on film. So we put like 2 tarps together up on this table that we had standing up upright. Well, and we're shooting from 250 feet. Okay. That's almost a football field. This thing hits and bounces like 50 fucking feet behind the camera again. I said, bro, what in the hell? Like, we keep moving back. It still does it. I'm like, dude, this thing is awesome. Well, anyway, we ran out of explosive rounds. We had to wait. That review video took 2 weeks to film because we had to order a whole nother box of explosive rounds. It was like $100 and wait for it to get shipped and then finish the film a different day. So, bro. But anyway, it was when I was in the military, the 2 favorite weapons to shoot was the M2, the 50 cal machine gun, and then the Mark 19, which was a 40 millimeter machine gun grenade launcher.
Yeah,
belt fed. We call it the thumper, But anyway, those are the 2 favorite things to shoot. But that tag in reminded me, like when we started shooting it with those explosive rounds, I was like, yes, this is the shit. But then I was like, bro, somebody's getting hurt with this thing. Holy cow.
Oh yeah, and it's super aggressive. And some of the builds that people have, I mean, at SHOT Show, they had that grenade launcher, and they had it set up for airsoft grenades.
Yeah.
Like, for them to be able to do that means that they can put a tag in on it. That would blow my mind. Having a semi-automatic just doof, 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 doof.
Yes.
That's absolutely crazy. The fact that our 6-barrel grenade launcher, I mean, absolutely eradicates every technical on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean there's 2 Humvees around that corner? Oh, there was 2 Humvees.
See ya. Yep.
And then to have a semi-automatic version of that, belt-fed with like 30 rounds, that's a whole
my God.
ball game.
That's crazy.
I will give $1,000 and my minigun to somebody that wants to throw that on top of my truck. They can have that. I don't need a minigun at that point.
Oh my God. Well, speaking of the M2, is that a 50 cal behind you on the wall?
It is. It's my HPA DMR. I got M82. Yeah, I'll bring it down. So it's custom cut short barrel. It's my CQB Barrett is what I call it, but it literally that's the end of the barrel right there. Inside, I'm actually running a VSR 10 Devil Jet, but it's got the modified bucking for AAGs. The hop-up I'm running in it is an Umbrella Armory red, or blue. Sorry, it's blue, right? Yeah, blue. Yeah. And then it runs on a low cap. Well, they're mid caps, but they're the tiny little M16 ones.
Yeah.
So, but it's a fun rifle. I'm running a Fusion engine in it. I don't use it too much. It's still heavy. It's a real heavy gun, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, you got the nice looking bipod on there and the suppressor.
Oh yeah, and then I run Monstrum scopes for everything too. Amazon favorite. Honestly, they work real good on my real steels too.
Right.
And the one that's currently on that 3x to I think it's 12 or 18, but it comes with built-in kill flash, and it's absolutely.
What is that?
So a kill flash, like if you're running a real steel scope, it keeps from the glare coming back to your scope. It also keeps from any sunlight from coming in and reflecting off the scope. The kill flash in airsoft is made out of a strong enough metal where you can't damage the scope.
Oh, nice.
So I only buy scopes where I can get a kill flash for it. If I can't get a kill flash for it, it's not worth it. Same with red dots, same with RMRs, anything like that. I mean, Amazon, you can look up scope kill flashes. You can find it for pretty much anything, and they're relatively cheap. It's like $12.
Yeah.
But $12 is a lot better than killing your, $200 Hollow Sun.
Oh, sure.
Or your $80 fake holographic that you're in love with. It's definitely worth the investment to kind of protect everything.
Yeah.
Actually, here, I can show you a small one right here. So I run a side mount RMR M4, and there's the kill flash.
Oh, nice.
It just comes, clips right off.
Oh shit, that's nice. Yeah.
And it's a total great investment when it comes to
for sure.
Because it's a fake Trigicon. I use it honestly for love.
Right.
But it's worth protecting it, especially when I do want to use it.
Well, yeah, a lot of people were using those little pieces of plexiglass, the little plates that go on, that mount on their rail or whatever, like a couple inches ahead of their optic, because for some reason, optics are like BB magnets. I don't know how.
Yep.
This tiny little area is the thing that gets hit.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, what's cool, you can get those plexiglass setups. They're cool. They work. All right. They're not going to break. They're going to protect your lens. But it definitely looks funky. And if you're already running, if you're running scope cams and you're running all this other nonsense on your gun to, help you in the game, it looks weird. It looks bulky. You don't really like having it on there. Sometimes it falls over depending on if you have one that flips forward or flips back.
Yep.
I didn't like that. That's why I like the kill flashes. And then you can get a kill flash for almost anything, which is fun.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with optics. When I was in the military, it was iron sights all the way. We never had M4s. We had the A2, M16 A2s. No optics, iron sights. That was it. And then when I got out of the military, it was one of my favorite weapons was a Savage 110. It was a bolt action 30-06, wooden stock, steel butt plate. Fucking, it'll wreck your shoulder trying to sight in a scope with a 20-round box of ammo, okay? But I loved it. It was one of my favorite weapons to shoot. And I had a 3x9, really cheap scope on there. I switched to a Leopold 6 power. Now this is back in like 96.
That's actually what I had in my 22.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah. I loved it, man. And the day I went to sight that scope in that 6 power, I went to my buddy's house and I forgot to pick up ammo. I was like, shit, I'm out of ammo because I had, been shooting it a lot. And so I stopped somewhere, some local store on the way to his house. The only thing they had left was 220 grain for 30-06. So I'm like, because that's for, hunting or whatever, not for sighting in your scope because it's going to wreck your fucking shoulder. So, usually I like the 150s. And so anyway, I got the 220s. I go over there and I got to round 18. And I was like, okay, it's fucking close enough. I don't care. I can't shoot these last 2 rounds. I was hurting. I don't have a lot of experience with optics on guns, ever.
It's personal opinion. If you like using an optic, awesome. If you like using iron sights, awesome. I use iron sights on a lot of my real steels. My home defense AR, it's iron sights, and then I have a canted thermal on it.
Shit.
I like
that is cool.
But when it comes to airsoft, I do use a lot more dot sights. I've trained myself to shoot with both eyes open and stuff like that.
Right.
I've been to real shooting classes. I have 2 range coaches on my team too that teach all my boys real gun, real steel etiquette.
Hell yeah.
And we train airsoft etiquette too, where it's a little bit more, unconventional, a lot more tucking your shoulder and your elbow in.
Yeah.
You got to remember you don't always have to shoulder it perfectly. We teach both ends of that too. Not to mention we got a nice kill house out by us too that we just use for our team. And
that
we
is
do
cool.
our real steel out by that as well.
See, that's all new shit to me too, because when I was in, we were learning, look, our stance was like elbows out every fucking where, because we had the sling wrapped around our arm to like bring it tight, and so we're like this. And all the new stuff, is real, low profile. Yeah.
You keep a smaller target.
Yeah.
And even in the military still, they'll teach you pretty much to put that M4 right almost dead center middle in your chest, and you're holding it like this.
Yeah, that's all new shit to me.
Clamping it or whatever, and you're given a lot more of a target. Now, I understand why. You have the body armor. It's there to get shot. I 100% understand why.
Yeah.
Now, even with my JPC or even my carriers, when I'm going out and, I'll wear a bulletproof vest sometimes, depending on where I'm going out, stuff like that. Some areas are a bit sketchy. I do travel a lot too, especially with work. And I won't have nearly as much protection on me.
Yep.
And it's part of having a JPC.
Yeah.
You don't always have that side protection. Where if I'm sitting here talking to somebody where I may have a result of an issue, I'm going to have my chest exposed.
Yeah.
That's what's going to save your life. Getting shot in the side is also going to hurt you a lot more than getting shot dead center in the chest.
Yeah. Yeah, we were so growing up, fighting. I was in wrestling, football, fighting, and fighting. Your stance is, you want a low profile target, so to hit, so you don't stand straight on, and you want balance. So everything's on the side. Then in boot camp, and then all 4 years in the Marine Corps, it's standing sideways to shoot with your elbows out, and then all this new stuff comes out with gun training is all, facing forward, quick, I guess, transition from, M4 to like dropping it with, single point sling or whatever. And, maybe sidearm or something like that. And we never learned that stuff. It was completely changed. All these channels I follow that, Real Steel stuff, I'm like, I don't remember. We didn't learn that. Like, it was all different.
And to be completely honest, you could meet a range coach from the military, and they're going to teach you that way, and they're going to teach you how the military taught them.
Yep.
But if you really want to learn a very precise and clean way of shooting that is dead nuts on every single time, go to a 3-gun guy.
The 3 guns. Yep.
How to shoot that gun the way it's designed to shoot.
Yep.
I mean, I did 3-gun for 3 years. I loved it. I still do it for fun. I've never really did anything too competition-wise, but I had some great teachers, great coaches.
Yeah.
And absolutely blast. But it teaches you a whole different aspect of shooting that you really couldn't imagine unless somebody's sitting there and showing you how to do it. A good thing to watch would be like John Wick. He had multiple 3-gun shooters come up to him, and he had amazing gun range coaches, and he went to some of the best in the United States to do his films, and I mean, they really taught him how to be a competition shooter, not as much as a military style shooter.
Yeah, Terran Tactical, big one,
Yep. And I run a Terran Tactical as my sidearm for Airsoft. Okay. And I have it set up with my 3-gun holster. I have a 1911 Speed holster. It's
He's talking to you, man.
Right? The Barrett wants to come down, I guess.
Hell yeah. But, it's like, show me off again.
I mean, this is my holster right here. It's just this piece right here.
Oh, shit.
You can pull out that handgun up, down, forward, diagonal, whatever you want. Clips right awesome. In when you go down.
Yeah.
It makes your draw a lot quicker. I posted up a small video where me and my boys were doing some, speed shooting at a metal target with our airsoft guns. And we hit it from a couple different angles. And it really shows the aspect of how much better a draw can be with the different type of holsters you have. Yeah. Not to mention you're seeing a lot more pop shoot where a lot of my military guys will still draw from the hip like they were in the military. It's slower. You can see
it's way slower. Yeah.
Especially having a vet on one side and a competition shooter on the other.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, my last duty station, it was in Camp Pendleton. I worked on a shooting range, Edson Range, and I worked with the range coaches. So we were, I was out there on the range every day, and it was, it was all no pistol stuff. I did a combat pistol course, but real basic. When they switched over from the 1911 to the 9mm Berettas, and that was right before I got out. Because we qualified with the Springfield 1911s when I went in, and but most of our stuff on the range was the M16A2 and all these range coaches and stuff. So it was all the snap in was with your sling wrapped around, and it wasn't tactical, and they weren't even teaching CQB. It was all long range. We did all long range stuff. So iron sights. Even to this day, I could take an AR-15 or whatever, and 5 football fields, I'll put it in the black, with iron sights on a good day, as long as the wind's not fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see how well that barrel is in that M16 too.
Yeah, true. It's, but yeah, those basics, stay with you for a long time. But all the new stuff, man, with the quick transitions and. I love watching it. I want to learn it, because it's totally different from what I learned. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And once you get the actual movements down, practicing on it's so much easier with Airsoft.
Yeah.
Where I use my Airsoft 1911, where I go to my Real Steel 1911, I mean, it's night and day difference, but the weight's almost exactly the same.
Right.
And that's just when it comes to shooting the actual target. You're shooting a 45 over a 6mm BB.
Yeah, of course. Recoil is everything for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, besides the recoil control, the draw is all the same.
Yeah.
I mean, the holster is the same exact thing too. I mean, I clip it in, I unclip it. Same exact holster, same belt, everything.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes it a lot easier. And that's if you want to go in the route of having your real steel match your airsoft too, which not everybody's going to do that, let alone.
Well, there's a lot of, there's a lot of guys that do that with, in fact, I was just talking to a guy that, last week I posted his podcast, and this is a guy, just met recently, and on our video here, we just met, just like you and me. He grew up, he had an older brother or a younger brother, sorry, who was, big into the sports and stuff. He was kind of like he's like into art, he's a graphic artist, and, he was never into guns. And he just recently started a YouTube channel and an Airsoft channel, or Instagram page, whatever, for Airsoft over the lockdowns last year. He bought a pistol just to shoot around his yard because he was bored. And once he started doing that, he was like, okay, I need to get something better. And then now he's on a team playing Airsoft all the time. He's like, really into it. But that transitioned in, that interest transitioned into real steel. Now he would have never thought of buying a real steel gun until after he got an Airsoft, which I think is really cool. Because I'm a big proponent of, people owning real steel guns. So,
it shows you respect for real steel too. It teaches you to be more relaxed with a firearm. A lot of people, I mean, honestly, that's what I was taught as a kid. If you couldn't be too relaxed with a firearm is there, it's there, it can hurt somebody.
Right.
And being somebody, I had my first firearm when I was 9 years old.
Nice.
So, I mean, it was more or less, I'm not going to touch this until I go to the range. Where when I got into Airsoft as the years went on, I was just like, I know it's not going to go off. I can trust my firearm.
Right.
I can sit here and have a magazine in it and know if it's not cocked and there's no bullet in the chamber, it's not going to go off. It can't hurt somebody. And it's a big thing that I feel a lot of people need to get past. A gun's not dangerous. A person's dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, I feel like it should be common sense to people. If they're going to own a piece or they're going to own a weapon of any sort, take the time to learn how to use it. And I feel like I shouldn't have to say that.
I know.
A lot of big, Second Amendment junkies like myself, I mean, we sit there and we hear some of these stories and it just blows my mind. Oh, we went out and bought this gun and all of a sudden I shot it and got a ticket because I accidentally fired my firearm. Well, then what'd you do cocking it, putting around in the chamber, and then playing around with the trigger with the safety off? If you didn't understand anything that I just said right there, why do you have a firearm? Like,
how many steps do you have to go through to get that thing to fire? Right? Like what you just said. There's a round in the chamber, you cocked it or whatever, and then the safety's off, and you put your finger on the trigger.
I mean, you can see almost any of my photos, all right? You go through anything on Instagram. Unless I'm in a firefight, that's the only time my finger's on the trigger. Everything else, it's like
the way it should be
the whole time. And it's proper gun etiquette. I don't care if you're an airsoft. I don't care if you're a 3-gun shooter. I don't care if you're just getting into firearms in general.
Yeah.
Learn proper gun etiquette. Don't aim a gun at somebody and, okay, we're airsoft players, all right? That's when you can aim a gun at somebody. In home defense, if that person is going to kill you, you have the right to aim that gun at somebody.
Right.
But do not do it. Absolutely do not do it. I was at the range. This guy had a loaded handgun, and he's shooting it with his buddy. And for a photo, he puts this loaded handgun to his buddy's head.
God.
And this range guy comes over and snatches it right out of his hand.
Oh, bro.
One, if I was that range guy, I would have been terrified to, one, touch that gun because the guy's finger was on the trigger.
I believe it.
I mean, what do you do in a situation like that? What, I accidentally the guy goes to grab his own pistol and blows his buddy's head off?
Dude. The amount of stupidity.
It just blows my mind.
It does.
It's not a fad, all right? It's self-defense. That's what's real firearms. It's not a fad. The people. I've seen photos of gun buddies that do horrible gun etiquette. All right, whether it's real or fake, we don't want to see that. Nobody actually wants to see that. We don't want to see anything that even revolves around that,
Yeah.
because you're teaching the wrong message to people to begin with. Not to mention, other messages that you're spreading out there too.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a big thing for me as well. I was just talking to somebody on a recent podcast saying when I got in the military, so I grew up there. We weren't allowed to have guns in the house. My parents were really against guns. In fact, when I was 12, my dad got me a BB gun. My mom was pissed. She was like, "That's a gun." My dad's like, "It's just a BB gun. It's fine." But so I didn't have a whole lot of experience. I think I fired a real gun twice in my life before I went to Marine Corps boot camp. And after I got out and we started having kids, I'm like, this is important enough. Statistically, your kids are going to run into or come in contact with a gun at a friend's house, wherever, in their lifetime. It's important enough that, and serious enough, deadly enough that they need to know, even if I didn't want them to have guns, even if I was against having guns in the house, it's still my responsibility as a parent to teach them what to do if they do encounter that, just as if they were, going to touch a hot stove or pick up a sharp knife. Like, what do you do with that? How do you avoid getting injured or hurting someone else? Driving a car, same thing. That was all encompassed in the same kind of training from, in my mind. So at 5 years old I'm teaching my kids how to shoot, at 22. Then when they were like 7 or 8, I had them shoot my .38 revolver. I'm helping them. I'm holding it for them. But I'm letting them feel the recoil. I'm letting them feel, experience this powerful weapon, so that they go, oh, and they have that healthy respect of it, later on. And all my kids, are very experienced with weapons and, safety with guns. All the time. In fact, when Colton and Chris go to, and JP as well, their friend, who, all of us are on the channel, when they go to MilSims and stuff, they come back and they're like, dude, the amount of, the lack of muzzle discipline and trigger discipline is insane. I'm like, yeah, parents, like dads, aren't teaching their kids these basics when they're young.
And never assume that somebody that loves guns knows how to see. Never assume that. Even when if I'm handing my personal firearm, like let's say I'm showing a buddy of mine, or when I have my team meetings, my boys have this habit of everybody pulling out their conceal and carry and putting it on my counter while we're all sitting there drinking. Like that's it's normal.
Right.
But then we'll have new members come over, and we don't necessarily know what knowledge they have at a casino. Right. And we'll sit there, and I'll just be like, hey, take the mag out, make sure it's clear. That's what you do when you hand the gun to that person. You don't know how used to firearms they are. If I'm handing or showing my piece to somebody, I'll clear it and take the mag out right in front of them.
That's what you're supposed to do. Before you hand a weapon to somebody, you're supposed to clear it and then hand it to them without your finger on the trigger.
Yeah. Without your finger on the trigger.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Those are, I think back in the day, like, maybe when I was growing up, like my parents, and their friends were, there was a lot of veterans, most people were in the military, coming out of the military. So, I think that was kind of, people that owned guns back then had some experience, real training with them. And so they would teach their kids the safety stuff. And I feel like in the last 20 some years, that's not been the case. So there's a lot of, parents that don't have that training, but, really especially in the last like 2 or 3 years with all the riots a few years ago, there's so many people that were anti-gun that started buying guns. They have no fucking clue how to handle it. They're like, woo! Like, bro, stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah. I mean, it comes back to the concept, you can own a gun and you can know how to use a gun. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. There's a guy on our channel, or he has his own YouTube channel, Gunfather MilSim. He is, a SWAT officer, been, on the SWAT team in some part of the country, in another state for like a long time. And he does, most of his videos are about like weapon handling. weapon handling, clearing rooms, CQB tactics, stuff like that. These are all things that you use in both CQB and Real Steel, like what he does on his job. And he's got some really good information on there, and he breaks it down as to why it's important. He was just you were talking about your holster, and he just released a video a couple days ago. I was watching, he talks about the same thing. Like, your holster is just as important or even more important than in Airsoft as the gun you're using, because, being able to draw that quickly is the whole point of having that sidearm. And, getting used to that with, practice. But, he's got a lot of stuff that, you guys would get along great as far as the training with that, and what you're talking about with Real Steel, and transitioning over to Airsoft. And I was talking to somebody else about the barrel socks. Like, some of these states have rules from their Airsoft field that you have to have a barrel sock when you show up, on the end of your rifle, I guess. And I'm not sure about, I doubt pistol, because it's usually in the holster, but you have to have it on the rifle. And that rule came about because of accidental discharges, because people are fucking dumb.
Yep.
Like, they don't have, like, they're walking around like, oh yeah, what's going on? Oh shit, sorry.
The field I grew up at had that. And honestly, I found it bizarre, because when I moved to Wisconsin, it wasn't a thing. Barrel socks didn't exist. It was an open field. It didn't matter. You kept your mag out. You threw in your mag when you started the game. And that's pretty much the universal rule of here in Florida, minus a couple spots. Like, I believe Miami indoor, you still have to have a barrel sock. I know a Clearwater, Airsoft, and paintball, you still have to have a barrel sock.
Yeah.
But like at BTA, it's nothing. You could have your mag in, you could have your battery in, you could have a fully loaded weapon. And from the time you leave your AO to the time you get on the field, you have a loaded weapon.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of time and a lot of people of watching other people to make sure that accidents don't happen. Right. Now, I don't necessarily agree with it, and they do try to enforce to keep at least the mags out. But it's real hard, because, a lot of the time we have 100 people at the field.
I was going to say, volume, so many people.
And when you only have 4 refs, it's hard to keep it up.
Yeah, I understand those barrel sock rules. I don't like rules in the first place, especially unnecessary ones that common sense would actually fix, instead of having a law or a rule. But the barrel sock one, I still don't like it. I understand where it comes from. I understand why they, fields have to have it. But I just wish people would take more responsibility for teaching their kids the basics when they're young, so they wouldn't have this issue,
Yeah. If you're playing Airsoft, you should know gun etiquette.
Yeah, for sure.
Flat out. You still have potential weapon in your hand. You can still shoot somebody's eye out. You can still, potentially hurt somebody with some of these firearms. Or not firearms, but Airsoft. So, you should already know the etiquette. You shouldn't be going on the field unless you know the etiquette. And it's just as simple as, don't point your gun at somebody. If you're not in the game, don't do it. If you're not on the field, you don't need a mag in. There's no reason to have a loaded mag in. You should never have your finger on the trigger unless that game starts. Matter of fact, you shouldn't have your finger on the trigger unless you're engaging a target.
Bro, how many times, in like woodland games, is somebody tripping over a tree root and going down or almost going down, and trying to catch themselves. And when you do that, you clench up. Like, if your finger's on the trigger, bro, that's what you're squeezing. Yep. It's just, that's a natural response. Like, keep it off of there and that won't happen,
Yep. I actually had somebody comment on one of my videos, because my Crytek LMG behind me has a tight in it. Yeah. And it's got a ball bearing trigger. It's extremely sensitive.
Nice.
And the issue was I stubbed my toe in the video, and it shot 3 rounds. And somebody actually took the time to put a comment in there of why I shouldn't have had my finger on the trigger.
Yeah.
I literally had to release a video saying, watch this. I'm going to knock on my gun and shoot 3 rounds. And it was so sensitive. Oh. Me doing the heavier part of the vibration anywhere at that receiver shot the gun. And this was an issue because I did not tune it properly for that game. And that was my fault. But I did only put the mag in for that game. I had to explain it and to tell. I made a small video showing how dangerous some of these tunings can be. You know, it's not necessarily something you want to have that sensitive. I sure as hell didn't. I didn't think that it was when I replugged in my battery until I walked on the field.
Right.
But there was a way of tuning it down. Now it's, I mean, obviously now it's tuned way down. This is years past. But you can make some.
I'll have to check that video out. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know you could do that with your trigger. Okay.
Some of these AEG triggers, I mean, the Titan gates, I mean, it's a laser. You know, you put anything that interferes with that laser, your gun goes off.
I've never worked on those. Okay.
Oh, really? It's honestly, I tell people to stay away from it. Is it a cool concept? Yes. If you're a speed softer and you're not outdoors a lot,
right,
cool, go for it. But the issue is, what happens when you accidentally drop that gun in sand?
Right.
Sand gets everywhere. I've had sand in that gearbox, and all of a sudden it'll fall and shoot by itself.
Oh, okay.
I'll pick the gun up and it'll shoot by itself.
Yeah.
You know, it's systems like that that make it real sketchy because it can happen.
Huh.
So I even had a gear split in it one time, and that gear, you know, the whatever sliver was in there was bouncing around in the gearbox, and every time it went in front of that laser, that gun went off. Whether it was on semi-full or you know, safety, it still went off.
That's crazy. Okay. So interesting. I'll have to watch some of those videos from your channel.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But now the clip that I'm talking about, that was on what was it, Instagram. I made a real small clip about it just to explain. Because that's when Titan Gate did more or less just come out, and they're not easy triggers to install. I mean, once you use it, it's not bad. But I don't recommend it for the safety part of it.
Gotcha.
Not saying it's completely unsafe, but if you're a MilSim player and you are in multiple different types of terrain, it's not something I would suggest. Right. And it does not take water. I mean, if it's raining, I'm terrified to bring those out. All of a sudden, you can't turn it off until you pull that battery.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
You know, that LMG specifically, I got to remove 2 Allen keys to get to that battery. So.
Oh, God. Well, just point it to the ground until the mag empties.
Yeah, right. Just remove the mag and just toss the gun somewhere.
Yeah. No shit. That's funny. So you said you were in Wisconsin. Are you from Florida or? So
I'm originally from Wisconsin, but I've lived in Florida most of my life.
Yeah.
I played Airsoft when I was in Wisconsin. I was with the 3 Percenters MilSim team. Did a lot of cool, they did video editing that kind of got me more into the content creating part of it. Where I was like, oh, you know, I love these videos. I want to become a content creator off of them. And that's really where it started for me, was watching them do that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the North has amazing MilSims. There's beautiful AOs.
Yeah.
Where the South has more, you know, flat land, not as much terrain, but definitely, you know, you have some locations that you just don't get in the North too.
Oh yeah, and then, you know, more months out of the year that you can play because of the weather.
I mean, we play year round. You know, we play rain, sun, anything. Yeah. And it's amazing. You know, they didn't even close it for the beginning of one of our hurricanes, and we still went out there.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's so what brought you back to Florida?
It's my home. I love it here.
Gotcha.
With being into Airsoft as much as I am, you know, I own my own MilSim company. I have a huge 28-person team. It's more options. You know, there's 12 fields here. Or no, eight this year. So there's 8 fields here. You know, COVID shut down some of the smaller fields.
Right.
And the community shut down one of the fields 2 years ago due to safety issues. You know, the community is really supportive here. It's really out there for the kids. It's really out there to inspire people. You know, you have Georgia just right across the border that has some amazing fields. Like there's a Nuketown field based off the Call of Duty map. I haven't been there yet. I heard it's phenomenal.
Yeah, we're not far from there. We want to go there.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we have to meet halfway, you know?
I know. Yeah, well, Atlanta's 2 hours from us.
GTA, I think, was 12 hours when we went to GTI. Yep. And then Firestorm, I think, was 14. It was like 13 or 14. It was a little further for us.
Okay.
Unless I have the two mixed. You know, I'm not looking at the map.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my cousin lives in Ocala, Florida. And he's come up here a couple
World
times.
Out there. Wayne's World's an amazing field, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ocala's got Wayne's World. I think Holy Cows is out towards that area, too. Real nice, pretty fields. A lot of terrain. The vegetation is nice, especially saying they have a CQB part of it too.
Yeah.
More of a city built out. I have a couple videos of Wayne's World. Personally, I don't go out there too much because it's just as far for me to go out there as it is to BTA, and we help out a lot at BTA. That's really our home field.
Right.
And then most of my teammates live between 20 minutes and an hour from that field, so it just happens to work out most of the time.
Right.
So, and we go out every 2 weeks. We play every 2 weeks. We train every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We have MilSim meetings every 2 weeks. So we keep very well in tune with everything.
Well, it sounds like you're jamming on this, in the Airsoft, your team and your videos and editing and your company, with the MilSim stuff, and you're obviously traveling for it. That's really cool. You got a lot going on, man.
I appreciate it. And it's fun. I hope it inspires other players because, without new players coming in, our sport eventually won't be around. So, anything that can keep people wanting to do it. I can't tell you how many kids come up to us. Oh, I've seen this and this, and I've seen this and this.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to meet you guys. And I've met a lot of pro Airsoft players where they're absolute dicks.
Yeah,
and I don't
I'm sure.
get it, man. I don't get it. You were that kid at one point. You were that one kid looking at that one player.
Yep.
And you saw it that inspired you to that point. How could you be a dick to somebody coming up to you?
Yeah.
We went out to a line club and a good buddy of mine was playing with me when I was back in 3%ers. And I'm not going to say any names, huge YouTuber, okay? And it wasn't the middle of a firefight. It was the middle of an event going on in the MilSim where people were alert. But he, walked up to him, hey, so nice to finally meet you. I've seen all this content. And he cussed him out. He blatantly cussed out my buddy. And I'm just like, wow, you really are a dick. Like, I'm a YouTuber, and I just lost all respect for you right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really hope that your helmet cam pick that up, and I really hope you post that. To me, that it was absolutely horrendous. And I run into that a lot. Like, it shouldn't be that way.
No, that's kind of surprising. I've not heard that before. Most of the people, well, everyone I've met in the Airsoft community, that we've met, through our channel, through watching other, videos. Obviously, with editing, and you don't know all that goes on. But from almost everything I've heard, guys like Swamp Sniper, like he is all about the community and bringing people together.
True fact. Swamp Sniper is huge about the community.
Yep.
He practically runs his field over there.
Right.
He brings in the business that inspires other people. That's what it's worth. To me, huge respect for that guy. I try doing the exact same thing by just bringing in as many people as I can to inspire them to come out and play.
Right.
That's what it's all about. All right.
Yeah.
You don't play this sport not to have people to shoot at. And the only way you get people to shoot at is by
no shit.
Come out and do it.
Well, that's I guess you have to have more targets. Like I was just talking about this in one of the other podcasts just last week. Like the Airsoft community is, most people I've met, they're really cool. They want, it's one of the few sports or whatever that the veterans are excited about the new players. Like they're not shitting on them. They're not like, putting them through a bunch of shit just to, weed out the weak ones or whatever. They're kind of like, hey man, here's what you do. Here, I'll show you how to do this. Oh, your gun broke? Here, I got an extra one. Like that happens quite often. And it doesn't happen in a lot of other, venues or whatever. So, but one of the big reasons is we want more people on the field. Like I was just telling my buddy, like I remember playing paintball where we'd go to a field and there was 5 of us.
Oh yeah.
And there's no one else. Like, bro, that fucking sucks.
And honestly, as bad as it sounds, I feel spoiled because we go to our home local field and there's 100 people there.
Yeah.
Our lowest count that we normally get is 70 people.
That's so good.
But then you play that field a million times, just like a map on Call of Duty.
Right.
You play that, it gets boring. And it's not that the field's boring, it's just that the repetitive part.
Yep.
And I have footage where it's just like, I could release that, but it's the same thing over and over and over again.
Yep.
You know, it's the same lines and it's the same positions, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. It all looks kind of the same after a while.
Yeah.
But then I'll go to another field, and there'll be 20 people or 10 people, and then you're just like, wow, what am I doing here? You know?
Yeah, this big area, and where is everyone?
Yeah.
Where's the target?
You have this 20-acre field, and there's 10 people here, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And then everybody's wondering why the game's lasting an hour and you've only gotten 2 kills.
Yeah, no shit. It's like the old days of, you know, some of the original, like, Halos, and when they first started coming online, and the server would go down, but you're the only one left, and you're like, what happened? Yeah. And then, like, 30 seconds later, you're like, oh, okay, it crashed. Nothing to shoot at. Oh, shit. Well, listen, man, it's been awesome to talk to you. Great to meet you. I am really impressed with all the shit you got going on with your channel, and I had no clue you were running the team and the patches, like all you guys stuff you have doing or you have going on, and doing all the editing and stuff. So it's cool to meet somebody that's spent as much time as me on editing. Not that I've spent more than, you know, a lot of these other airsofters, but you understand the amount of work that goes into it is what I'm saying. Yeah. And so anyway, where can people find you online?
So, I mean, you can go on to TikTok, whatever you want to call it. Honestly, I hate it. But, yeah. I got a lot of clips on there. It's all a bunch of short clips. If you want to see that, if you're just looking to kill some fast time. So that's House of Jackals MilSim is on there. Facebook, it's House of Jackals MilSim. Instagram, it's Jackals MilSim Official. And it's Jackals_MilSim Official if you're trying to look it up. My personal page, if you go into any of our posts, you can see each individual teammate in their pages, and it'll be call sign, whatever their call sign is, and then official. Yeah. So, like, if you're trying to look for me, it's Callsign Death Official. And then if you're trying to look for us on YouTube, it's House of Jackals MilSim on there as well.
Awesome. Well, man, it was really great to meet you, Matt.
Well, I appreciate it, Eric. It was nice meeting you, too. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Yeah.
And, you know, anytime, let me know. I'll come back.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Have a good night, bro.
Yeah, you too, brother.